You are doing everything, and you most likely end your day feeling exhausted or second guessing everything that you did, wondering if you even did enough, and why more clients aren't signing to work with you because for the amount of effort and work that you are putting in, there is not much to show for it. And it's not because you aren't working hard enough or taking your business seriously. I know that. It is because your focus is spread across so many different things, half of which are not important or going to get you clients or make you money inside your business. And today, in this episode, we are going to fix this. Hey there, and welcome to the Life and Business on Purpose podcast, where purpose meets profit and mindset meets strategy. I'm your host, Sandy Patterson, former kindergarten teacher turned online business coach, mom of two really cool boys, and the creator of the Momentum Method. Through this 3-phase method over the past 2.5 years, I have helped dozens of women build values-aligned, profitable businesses without working 40+ hours a week so they get to enjoy their business and live their lives on purpose. Around here, we do business differently because we believe success isn't about hustling to prove ourselves. We don't believe in rigid formulas or chasing someone else's version of success. It's about channeling perfection into power, moving with unstoppable trust in life and business, and leading with strategy that actually fits your life. Let's build your life and business on purpose together, one episode at a time. Here we go. Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I am so freaking excited that you are here, and I am especially excited to dive into this topic because it is something that I talk with my clients about all the time, and that is how to handle and what to do when everything inside your online coaching business feels really urgent and really important. How do we prioritize what to do because we have such a limited amount of precious time? So how do we decide what to do and not overwhelm ourselves? You are an online coach and you are doing everything, and you most likely end your day feeling exhausted or second guessing everything that you did, wondering if you even did enough, and why more clients aren't signing to work with you because for the amount of effort and work that you are putting in, there is not much to show for it. And it's not because you aren't working hard enough or taking your business seriously. I know that. It is because your focus is spread across so many different things, half of which are not important or going to get you clients or make you money inside your business. And today, in this episode, we are going to fix this. Now, for those of you that are new here, I am Sandy Patterson. I help women build online businesses without burning themselves out trying to do everything the quote unquote right way. My work is truly for recovering perfectionists who are done spinning and second guessing and ready to grow their businesses with strategy that fits them, mindset that builds trust, and leadership that actually feels aligned with who you are. So this is really about building a business that supports your life, not one that you have to recover from. Now, in the last episode, we talked about why so many amazing coaches feel stuck even though they're doing all the things. We broke down what you actually want, which is consistent income, clarity, and momentum. What most coaches are doing instead, which is adding more offers, adding more content, adding more strategies, and why that approach actually keeps you spinning instead of moving forward. And I walk you through my approach to solving this, and it's really all about knowing exactly what to prioritize so your effort finally starts to compound instead of being wasted. So if you haven't listened to that episode yet, make sure you go back and listen because it really sets the foundation for everything we're diving into today. Now, before we dive in today, if you are a coach who feels overwhelmed with the amount of things that you feel like you're trying to do and you know there has to be a better way, you have two options. You can book an absolutely free, no pressure growth gap audit call where you and I will sit down and we'll hang out and we'll look at your current life and business structure. We'll look at what you have going on and how you're spending your time. We'll look at where the gaps are and we'll map out how to close those gaps so you can see better results with less effort by focusing on what actually matters and what actually moves the needle forward. The link for that is in the show notes for you. And if you are ready to dive into your business this year to truly create a life on purpose where you can take your kids to school or go to the gym in the middle of the day or go get margaritas for lunch with your best friend or whatever your life on purpose looks like, you can also apply for my mastermind or private coaching. The link for that is in the show notes as well. Now, let's dive in and let's talk about what's going on that's actually keeping so many coaches spinning day in and day out. Now, most coaches believe that if everything feels important, then everything deserves my attention. And we genuinely think this is what being a good, responsible business owner looks like, not dropping any of the balls, right? It's responding to every idea the moment it pops into your head. It's treating every opportunity or every message or every piece of content or piece of feedback as if it's urgent. And it's trying to optimize all the parts of your business all at the same time, or trying to create and sell multiple offers all at the same time, keeping multiple paths open so you don't have to miss the right one. Okay. Underneath all of that is this very subtle, unspoken belief that if I don't tend to everything, something is going to fall apart or I'll miss something and nothing will work out. So what happens is your focus gets spread really thin, not because you're undisciplined or scattered, but because you're just doing too many things. And many of those things aren't actually really doing anything for your business. They're not money makers. So what happens when you believe everything matters and everything is important right this second? Well, you start more than you can finish. You are keeping mental tabs open on half-built ideas, which is exhausting. You are carrying around dozens of I should do this, I should do that tasks in your head, which creates guilt at the end of the day when you can't get them all done. And then you end most days feeling busy, but also strangely unsatisfied and wondering if the things you're doing are actually working and doing what they're supposed to be doing. Because if they were, wouldn't you be seeing more results by now? So nothing ever feels complete or done. And that's exactly where the frustration comes from. It's not from a lack of effort or a lack of commitment or a lack of you not knowing what to do or the willingness to work hard, but from too many open loops competing for your attention all at the same time. So let's go one layer deeper because I'm always going to take things deeper with you. You know that. At its core, this belief that if everything feels important, then everything deserves my attention is actually about keeping you safe. Because if you stay open, you stay safe. There's no room for rejection. There's no room for failure. If you don't commit too hard to something, you can't fail. And if you just keep adjusting or tweaking, you'll eventually get it right? But here's the thing that most people do not want to admit. That safety isn't going to build momentum or sales inside your online coaching business, especially now with how noisy the industry is at this moment. And I get this because sometimes it is so freaking hard to distinguish what is actually important and what can wait because everything feels important. So I have to do everything, right? Which creates so much frustration and actually slows you down. Because when you're treating everything as important, your brain never gets a chance to rest and turn off. And there's no anchor or finish line where you can take a deep breath and feel really proud and really solid in what you've given your attention to that day. So your energy gets really scattered and you're not directing your effort like a true CEO. You're reacting to whatever feels the loudest and the most important in that moment. So your newest idea or the latest post you saw someone else do or the new course that you should sign up for. And the problem is not that you are doing too little. No way. It's actually that you're doing too much without commitment to the things that actually matter and that are actually going to create the results that you want. Because momentum comes from consistent movement in the same direction towards the things that matter. So often I hear coaches talking about how they need to get their website up and their business cards ordered and get their CRM up and running. And I'm going to be the one to just say this to you. You do not need those things to make money or to make an impact or to work with clients. in your business. I have this conversation all the time with new coaches. And whenever I ask them, what are you working on? What are you working towards? It's usually back end stuff, my website, my business cards, my scheduling system, all of these things. And it's never actually the things that are going to move the needle forward. Now, this belief that if everything feels important, then everything deserves your attention is also subtly training you to distrust yourself. And you guys know that I am all about building unstoppable self-trust in your business. Every time you reopen a decision or you start something and you don't finish it, you send yourself a little message that what you chose to begin with wasn't good enough. So instead of building actual solid evidence and building that self-trust, you are constantly starting over. And starting over, I know, feels productive, but it keeps you from ever seeing your results compound. And another reason that thinking that if everything feels important, then we got to do everything, that confuses optional tasks with essential ones that are actually going to do what you want them to do, which is bring clients in, create revenue in your business, and really help those clients that are in your world. Because when everything lives on the same level, revenue generating actions get diluted by busy work. Okay? Let me say that again. Revenue generating activities are diluted by busy work. So you end up polishing, tweaking, optimizing, preparing, brainstorming, planning, all these things while avoiding the uncomfortable actions that actually lead to clients and revenue. So at the end of the day, you're tired, yeah, but you're no closer to being paid. So let's talk about where your focus actually should be going inside your online coaching business. In those moments when everything feels important, the to-do list feels like it's a mile long and never going to end, and you start to feel overwhelmed with all the things. I've got you here. Because this is truly where things start to feel simpler, way easier, and you start asking yourself, wait a second, like it gets to be this easy? Like I'm done for the day? Like, wait, what? I call this the focus protection framework. And it's what I use. It's what I use with my clients when everything feels urgent in a growing coaching business, because typically it's just you. You don't have a team. So you're juggling all of these things and everything feels really important and really urgent. Okay, step 1 is anchor to one revenue generating priority. The first question to ask yourself is this: what is the one thing I'm actively trying to sell right now? Now, this stands true even if you have multiple offers inside your business. You guys know me, I do have multiple offers, multiple price points, and you know that I love being creative in my business in that way. But weekly, monthly, and quarterly, I am asking myself, what is the focus? What is the main offer that I want to fill right now? What do I want to bring attention to? And that becomes the focus. Because when everything feels important, like if all the offers feel important, it's usually because nothing feels or nothing is clearly anchored. So the first move is not organizing your to-do list or building a better system. It is deciding the priority. So this means one primary offer that you are actively selling and inviting people into. It's one clear outcome that you're helping someone move towards, and one offer focus you are committed to selling right now or for an extended period of time, whether that's a week, a month, a quarter, okay? Anything that does not support selling this offer goes into a holding pen, not your daily to-do list. This is where your focus actually begins and becomes more intentional, because now your brain has something to orient around and there's a center point and a direction. It really feels like a breath of fresh air and a weight lifted off of your shoulders. And I can say this because this used to be me trying to do a bunch of things all at once. And when I finally realized that I need one revenue generating focus, like one offer and then a revenue generating activities to actually sell it, the focus became so much less overwhelming because I was only focusing on that one thing. So focusing on one thing doesn't mean you're doing less. It's actually about knowing what everything else is in service of, and it's giving up the belief that everything is important and everything needs to get done right now. This is hard for a lot of high achieving women because success to us is completing that to-do list by the end of the day. And also, this is difficult for women who have tied their productivity to their value. I understand this all because I was there at one point and I get it. So think about this. Think about the people on Survivor trying to start a fire. So they're running around, striking matches. Well, they don't have matches on Survivor, but striking that little fire thing everywhere. There's one spark here, one spark there, another over here. So they probably feel really busy and they feel like they're doing a lot, running around, but nothing ever catches fire. That's what it's like when you're trying to do and sell 5 different offers, talking to 5 different client types, trying to get your website up, and you're confused about who to talk to on the website. And then the business cards are going to lead to the website and like all the things. You've got sparks everywhere, but no actual fire. Now compare that to building a campfire. Okay. You choose one spot, you stack the wood intentionally, and you feed the same flame. At first, it doesn't look like anything and it doesn't look very exciting. But because all of your energy is going into one place, the fire actually starts and eventually you're making s'mores, right? That's what anchoring to one revenue creating priority does in your business. You're not doing less work. You're feeding the same flame over and over again until it has a chance to catch. And once this happens, everything else becomes way easier. So what is your revenue generating priority that you are going to focus on this month? And what are the revenue generating activities that you're going to do to sell that priority in that time frame? Those are the questions you need to be asking yourself. Now, step 2 in the framework is filter everything through. Does this move me closer to a conversation lens? So the next question to ask yourself is, will this help me start, nurture, or move a real conversation forward? In a growing coaching business, clients do not come from activity. They come from proximity and conversations which create trust built in real time. And as much as I would love to tell you that, just go post some stories or go create a post on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn that says spots open, that activity is not what is going to drive conversions, especially in the beginning of your coaching business. They come from conversations. So instead of asking yourself, is this a good idea? Or should I be doing this? Or what is everybody else doing? You have to start asking yourself, does this activity, does this thing that I'm sitting down to do help me start conversations? Does this build trust with someone already paying attention to me? And does this move someone closer to an invitation? And if the answer is no, that task might still be good and it's fine and it might be nice, but it's a later on task. It's not a not right now. It's not an urgent task or that. So you put it in that holding pen again. This step is going to protect you from things like over editing your content, getting lost in back end inbound marketing projects, and spending energy on things that feel productive, like your website or your business cards, ladies, but they don't actually lead to anything. This was literally me for the first year of my business. I posted consistently. I committed to posting on Instagram 5 days a week for an entire year. I was sharing value. I was showing up in my stories. I was doing all the things. And on paper, it looked like I was doing everything right. And I would even have people reaching out to me going, wow, Sandy, you're totally crushing it. You're doing so good. But guess what? Behind the scenes, I was not signing consistent clients. I would have clients here and there, but it wasn't consistent. And I never really knew how I did that. So I couldn't recreate it. So when I looked closer, the issue wasn't my content. Well, let me say, it kind of was my content, but that's a whole other episode and a whole other story and a whole other topic. But what I needed to be doing was having conversations and building relationships. I was basically posting and crossing my fingers that something would work or somebody would like it and reach out, waiting for somebody to, DM me. And I just was assuming that if people were interested, they would just send me a DM. My inbox was very quiet that first year, I will say. So what I did is I simplified. Instead of trying to improve every piece of content or create more content, I started focusing on one thing. How do I intentionally move from content to conversation to invitation? So the content still played a piece, focusing on that revenue generating priority, but I started prioritizing the conversations in order to be able to sell and invite people into my offers. So what I started doing instead was responding to story views and replies just with curiosity, not with any pressure. Just, hey, what resonated with you? Hey, thank you so much for following along. Let me know what your thoughts are. Following up with people that I had already connected with instead of chasing down a bunch of new people. For so many coaches, we don't realize how many leads are right in front of us. And also treating these conversations as an opportunity to create a connection and build a relationship, not a sales pitch. And literally within a few weeks of prioritizing genuine conversations, I signed multiple aligned dream clients, not because my content suddenly went viral. I actually intentionally started posting less, but because I started engaging with the people that were there and being proactive and having conversations about my work. And the biggest shift here was not even the sales. It was my confidence. I felt like for the first time, I didn't feel like I was throwing spaghetti at the wall or throwing content into the void and hoping that somebody saw it and somebody liked it and somebody, reached out. Now I knew where clients were actually coming from. That is the power of this second step. Dream clients do not come from algorithms alone or content alone or inbound marketing work alone. They come from trust built through conversations and relationships and direct personal invitations. Because when you are having real conversations, you're no longer spinning and the work actually starts working. Now, the last step in this framework, step 3, is deciding once and letting that be enough. So the last step here is one that most people skip over, and it's why the spinning keeps happening and why all the things continue to feel important. So the question here is, what am I no longer available to redecide daily? So you have to protect your focus by choosing your direction for that day, for that week, for the month, for the quarter, even you guys for that hour of time, and then let imperfect execution count. So you refuse to reopen decisions every time you start to doubt something, or every time something feels like it's not working, or things are quiet, or people aren't reaching out. You are able to stand in it. And when I say refuse to reopen decisions, it just means pivoting on a whim and being really reactive. So going, I posted yesterday and nobody reached out about this offer, so I'm going to switch the offer, or I'm going to switch my niche tomorrow. It's staying in it, and it's making a decision and holding on to it. Because here's the truth, momentum does not break when things are messy or imperfect. It breaks when you keep pulling the plug from one thing before anything has time to actually work. I see this happen all the time. You don't need more tweaks or more optimizing, because clarity does not come from thinking longer. Okay? It comes from staying put and staying in it and showing up consistently long enough to compound and build evidence. So imagine you're baking a cake and you follow the recipe and you preheat the oven and do the things and you put the cake in the oven. And then every few minutes, you're opening the door to check it, you're pulling it out, and you keep wondering, what am I doing wrong? Is this the right temperature? Should I add something? Maybe I should just tweak something here. Maybe I should add something to the cake just in case. But every time you open the oven door, the temperature is dropping and the baking process gets interrupted and the cake never really fully sets or bakes. And that's what happens when you keep making all of these tiny re-decisions in your business day in and day out. And when you start to notice this, you're really going to want to pay attention to all the things that you are questioning and redeciding, because it's not that the cake recipe is wrong. It's not that the execution isn't perfect. It's that you're not letting the process finish and complete all the way through. So deciding one time and letting it be enough for that focus time is like keeping the oven door closed. You allow the heat to do its job, you give the process time to work, and you stop sabotaging momentum with constant adjustments. And this is why self-trust is so important, and one of the pillars inside my momentum method is because it requires a shit ton of self-trust to decide and then stick with it. So I promise, if you start implementing this framework today, you focus on just one revenue generating activity, you prioritize conversations, and you lead yourself in your business without redeciding and reopening decisions, I promise your days are going to start to feel way less scattered, and you are going to go to bed at night knowing that what you accomplished that day is actually moving the needle forward, and that you get to feel really proud that what you're doing is 100% going to produce the desired results you're looking for, which is clients, revenue, and impact in your coaching business. Now, I want to zoom out for just a second because what we just walked through is incredibly powerful. And like I said, if you start implementing this today, you will see changes in the way that you're prioritizing your business time, but it's only one piece of the bigger picture. This focus protection framework is about stopping the spin and creating enough stability for momentum to become possible, even in those moments when everything feels important. But momentum in your online coaching business does not just come from focus alone. There are other key pieces that are essential. And number one is knowing how to turn your perfection and people pleasing into power and leveraging it to speed you up. How to build that deep self-trust that we talked about so you can make decisions without constantly outsourcing your confidence or redeciding, and how to align your strategy with the life and business you actually want to lead. So how you're showing up should feel really exciting and really fun for you, not a big old drag. And this is exactly what my signature momentum method is designed to do and why it was created. It is not a quick fix or a single framework. It is a 3-phase approach that helps you move out of overthinking into aligned action and then into sustainable, repeatable growth. So the focus work we talked about today creates the foundation. And from there, the momentum method shows you how to build on it. So you're not just moving faster, but you're moving in the right direction on purpose and seeing results. There are 3 key pieces to my signature momentum method. And the first one is turning your perfection into your superpower. Because feeling confident as a business owner is not about silencing your inner perfectionism or pretending you don't care about doing things well or fixing anything. It is really about channeling your high standards strategically so that they serve your growth instead of stalling it. We speed you up using these high standards, and this step alone has allowed my clients to do things like make decisions faster and with more certainty, which helps them implement strategy way more quickly instead of sitting in indecision or redeciding for weeks, and developed leadership habits that keep them steady during slow months, helping them stay visible and confident even when the results aren't instant. Now, the next step is creating unstoppable trust, but it's not just any trust. The key to having a booked out business is actually not about the number of clients you have. It is about identifying the gap between where you are now and where you want to be, and aligning your habits, your focus, your strategy with the version of you who is already moving from that place. So inside my Unstoppable Trust system, we pinpoint the misalignment between your current approach, so what you're currently doing, and where you want to go. and the mindset, behaviors, and strategy of a full-time coach. And then we incrementally upgrade how you show up, how you move, and your belief system so your business can catch up to the identity and income you are ready for. It is all about self-trust, and you can literally accomplish anything in your business when you have this intact. And the third and final piece to building a sustainable, long-term business to live your life on purpose is not about hitting one high cash month or making money one time. It is about having strategy, content strategy, marketing strategy, sales strategy, all the strategy that actually aligns with you and your values and who you are and fits into your life and supports you, not the other way around. Because true sustainability comes from building a system that is fully aligned with you, your voice, your vision, how you want to live your days, how you want to spend your time. So you're not just running a successful business, but one that feels like you and that is really fun to show up for, that is creating impact with your clients and gives you both financial and time freedom to live life on purpose. Now, this momentum method has been transformative and the key to unlocking my clients' businesses and their lives, and has them going from saying, Sandy, I am doing so much and nothing seems to be working, to sending me screenshot after screenshot of wins. Now, if you're listening to this episode and you're realizing this is it, this is exactly why I feel busy, but I'm not actually moving. My focus is split. I'm juggling too many priorities and nothing is getting the chance to really root and work. This might be your cue to stop adding more to your plate and start simplifying what actually deserves your energy. Because momentum is not built by doing everything. It's built by committing to the few things that truly move your business forward. So from here, you have two options. You can book that absolutely free, no pressure growth gap audit call where we will hang out and take a look at what you've currently got going on in your life and business. We'll look at the structure, we'll identify where your gaps are, and I will literally show you how to close those gaps so you can get better results with less effort by working smarter and focusing your time on what actually moves the needle forward. The link is in the show notes for you, or if you've been around the block and you know what I'm all about and you are ready to dive in with high touch support, you can apply for my mastermind space or for private one-to-one coaching. The link for those is in the show notes. Now, thank you so much for being here today. Make sure you hit that follow button so you don't miss any episodes. And if this episode hit home, please consider leaving a review. It just takes a second to hit those stars and send it to someone. And send it to your biz bestie who's also ready to really start focusing on the things that actually move the needle forward inside her online coaching business too. And you guys can be accountability buddies. I love you all. I will see you next time. Mwah. If you are sitting here thinking, oh my gosh, this episode was made for me, you have two options. You can book your absolutely free, no pressure growth gap audit call. On this call, we'll take a look at your current life and business structure, identify where your gaps are, and show you how to close those gaps so you can get better results with less effort by working smarter and focusing your time on what actually moves the needle forward. The link is in the show notes for you. Or if you're ready to go from one-off wins to repeatable revenue with structure, strategy, and sales that support your life and keep dream clients coming back and your calendar full without burning out, you can apply to work together by clicking the link in the show notes. Make sure you hit that follow button so you don't miss any new episodes. And if this episode hits home, please consider leaving a review, hitting those stars, and sending it to your biz bestie who's also ready to build a life and business on purpose. I'll see you next time.